I'm turning my stuff off.
Going live now.
All right.
Oh, I love it. We're sharing dogs here. Hi, ladies, Becky and Eminem. If you're welcome to put up your voice and say hello if you would like. We're glad to see you here. I'm glad to see everybody. Michelle, where are you from?
UK in Northamptonshire.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. How is the weather by you? Cold?
It's very cold. It's the coldest it's been in 66 years in the UK
really?
at the moment.
Wow. It's been like, cold. Yeah, it's been interesting. The weather is getting even more interesting, right? With
Hi, Michelle. I forgot to say hi. Hello.
How are you?
We're getting to draw together again. Yay.
I know. I love it.
I do too. I love the communities that are growing. This is such a wonderful building.
Yeah, it is.
And welcome to our new friends.
I'm going to say welcome. We are live in Facebook. So welcome everyone to this wonderful, wonderful class, wonderful session we're going to have today. And I called it the Circles of Happiness for a few reasons. Reason number one, happiness is always good, right? Any amount, anywhere they give, we're welcome to. We open up our arms and we accept it, right? That's what happiness is all about. And second of all, we will be discussing circles today. That ever-essent symbol, that ever-essent element in Neurographica. So it's interesting because as I was doing it, this is an intro to the NeuroComposition course that we will be starting on Monday. And I wanted to say a bit about the NeuroComposition course, but I didn't want to just talk about it. I figured it's more fun if we gather and we actually draw, right? It's always fun when you draw Neurographica. The NeuroComposition course is, I've been talking about it in a few other sessions, that it's about different shapes and it's about the actual elements, right? We have the Neurographica alphabet, the Neurographica language. Neurographica is a linear language, right? It's not a regular language like we talk. It's not it's not a language that you can hear and you can pronounce with your mouth. But we know, and I discuss this a lot within my awareness practice. Actually, I have an open video available on my channel where we discuss where when we draw Neurographical, actually all of our senses are fully involved. You know, the one sense that less involved than others is the sense of smell. And I always invite people, I use essential oils. My favorite is orange. I have a few others. I have rose, which is very strong. By the way, rose is the strongest hertz. If you measure the way the smells work, you know, rose has the strongest one, by the way, if anybody interested. From anything like stressful situation, rose is perfect. You can put now, you can start at the start of your session. You can put some essential oils on over here by the start of your hand and then spread it around. And there you go, voila. You involve the scent of smell within your Neurographica drawing. And all of the other senses are also involved, right? We, of course, involve our eyes because we see what we draw and not just see the visual image. Like, again, I'm going to refer to the awareness practice because it's such an integral part of Neurographica. The sense of vision is very important. When we do the reaction, the awareness practice, how we feel, what's the body's reaction, what's the emotion, and what's the thought, we always keep in mind that it always depends on the image we see, right? Whatever it is that we're doing at the moment. It's very important to notice that. And of course, we listen, right? We listen to somebody talk, somebody describe. I listen to myself. That's so important. I encourage all of my students, my specialist course students, start teaching, start integrating, start teaching, showing this to others, because when you hear yourself explain it to other people, that's a completely different level of learning Neurographic. I just want to let you know. And of course, by the way, when you're by yourself, I encourage people to say it out loud so you can hear yourself. The vibration in the air is very important to the, you know, to the whole feeling of Neurographica. Now, of course, we involve the sense of touch, right? Our amazing, amazing hands and fingers And I say, thank God for that, right? You can thank the universe, you can thank the God, it's your choice. What else do we have there, right? The nose, we involved it. By the way, what you can also do without the essential oils, you can use those markers with a scent. My kids love it. That's their favorite markers. They always ask me to buy those markers with scents. Why? Because kids are naturally involved. Kids are naturally involved in being fully and sensorically, integrated within everyday daily actions, right? And we know that about kids, right? I have an educational background, so I remember and I know still how important the sensoric experience is for the kids. So it's the same thing for you guys. That's why and we're going to utilize this today, when I join Neurographica, I'm going to ask you, put your hand on the paper and feel the paper, touch the element that you drew. Okay, what else? Did I touch all the 5 senses? Ears, nose, mouth. Mouth is when we talk. Mouth is when we breathe. Very important to breathe when you do Neurographica, right? Now, let's get back to the Neurographica alphabet, right? Which is why we gathered here today. What is a Neurographica alphabet? Compared to any other alphabet, any other language, I'm not a linguist, but in generally, I know stuff about languages. Neurographica only has 4 elements in their language. But I want to tell you, it is growing as we speak now. We're adding more elements, right? But 4 major elements are the neurographic line, the neural line, right? I am glad to see you guys, and I'm going to transfer my camera to my paper. You guys good? Yeah? I'm going to transfer the camera to my paper so you can see as I'm explaining things, and we can dive in. I do want to say hello to Karen. Karen or Karine, I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. Hello and welcome. Now, nope, going back, losing the background. And we are going to start. Background. And choosing virtual background. There you go. Voila. Let's fix the camera. Can everybody see my paper? Okay. So that's something else I will be discussing with you today. So let me get a regular paper just to show you what we're doing, okay? And I will be pinning myself if it's okay with you so everybody can see me. Hi, M and M. Nice to see you. I see your notes, guys. So you're welcome to chat. You are welcome. That's why I'm doing this on Zoom too. If you have any questions, you're welcome to either write or you can open up your mic. I'm okay with that, with open sessions, and ask me a question. Something you don't understand, something you've been wanting to ask for quite some time, You watch the Zoom, maybe you watch some Neurographica videos and you don't understand something. Trust me, happens a lot. It happened to me, it still happens to me, right? So 4 elements of the Neurographica alphabet are the neural line. This is the most basic thing we learn, right? This is a part of the basics course, right? This is what we learn. Any course, any open video you go, right? I have an open video. I remember when I started doing it, that was my goal. That was my dream. Bring Neurographica to English-speaking people, right? Because it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's phenomenal, right? And I remember making that video, the viral one on YouTube. And I remember thinking, wow. And the first thing all of the open videos, excluding mine, shows you is how to draw the neurographic line, right? We know it's not a straight line. It's a very unusual line, and it's very important. The more you practice, I know I have students who are like, but I don't know how to do this. And I always say the same thing. The more you practice, the more you're going to get it. I promise you, you will master this, okay? This is not something, it's not like opera singing. You have to be having a talent in it. This is a human function. If you know how to hold a pen, instead of the pen, you can use a marker, then you know how to write your name, you will know how to draw a neurographic line. And if you don't know, there are people who work Neurographica with kids. If you don't know how to write your name, that's okay too. You will learn it. That's a human functional use, that's possible. So what are next other elements? Another element we have are the shapes, right? Remember we said 4 elements within the Neurographica alphabet. Neuroline, the shapes, right? The circle, the everescent circle. And that's what we will be discussing in details today, right? I'm going to tell you about about circles. We have the square. Just to say it quickly, because this is a much more, deeper understanding. Square is a symbol, an element of stability. Okay. And we have the one that's people avoid. Pavel teaches that we should avoid using it because it's such a powerful element. The element of triangle. It's a very powerful element. And Pavel started saying that we should not be teaching this at the basics course. Why? Because people should really fully understand the aspect of this element. The responsibility would be the word ecology. We use the word ecology a lot. I know ecology refers to the nature and the trees, but within Neurographica, we also use the term ecology because we want to make sure that whatever it is that we draw, and remember, Neurographica is not just a simple drawing. We are utilizing the sense of, there are a lot of elements, right? Remember, I started it. I realized first and foremost, this is an element, the attraction, right? Like the law of attraction. Whatever we draw is the law of attraction. I wonder what happened to YouTube here. Okay. It's an element of the law of attraction. Whatever we draw is what we're trying to attract, right? And there are many different aspects of that. Like even when we do the brainstorm, right? When we start writing the words, it's about attracting the neurons, creating a new mental image of what we want, and that will come within your reality, because we all know our reality is built with our mental images. Whatever we imagine will come true. Okay, so with triangles, it's so important to learn all the ins and outs about triangles. What are the advantages? What are the, responsibilities you should know about when you draw your triangles? Okay, so that too we will discuss during the course. Today, I would like to discuss, the most popular one, the circles. Why circles? What is so unusual about circles? What is so not unusual, but what is so special about circles that we start utilizing it from the very first time we use Neurographica, right? Like I mentioned, any open video, you will see circles, okay? Circle is, and you know what? We can start drawing as we start explaining. Now, notice the size of the paper. I would like to introduce here, right? Whenever I draw for like an hour and a half, and I want to make sure I finish my drawing on time, I start utilizing a smaller size, right? This is A4, and this is, I believe, 6 by 9. Yes, 6 inches by 9 inches, okay? And I find it to be a bit more comfortable for me because I want to make sure that during this session, I will be able to give you the beginning, the middle, and the end of the topic that we're drawing today, okay? And as we draw, okay, as we start, we're going to start now. I want you to start thinking, circle is in nature, okay? Also symbolic, a lot of symbolism here, okay? Circle is nature. Okay, circle is what grows in nature. You wake up in the morning and the sun is out there. You don't have to do anything about it. You can get up from bed. You don't have to get up from bed. You can wake up. You don't have to wake up. Whatever it is that you do, the sun will come up in the morning, okay? You go to sleep at night, whether you see it or not. It may be full, it may be small, it may be half, but the moon is out there, right? This is very important to notice. Circle is the nature. If we're talking about anthropologically, the primal people, the first thing they saw, right? Even if we going back to the biblical story of Adam, when he was expelled from the Garden of Eden, right? If we look at it anthropologically, what is the first thing that first people saw. One second. What is the first thing that people saw, primal people would see? You know, that would be the food, right? What do people need on the very basic needs? Shelter, food, right? So when people were hungry, what did they do? They would take the fruits from the tree, the very first fruits. We're not talking about the ones involved now, but the fruits around them would always be in circular shape. Everything surrounding us, most of everything surrounding us within the nature is circular shape, right? Circle is a symbol of care. Circle is a symbol of comfort. The universe, you can look at it, the universe, you can call it God, whatever your preference is, the same result. The universe or God gives you everything you need within nature. You have everything, right? And that's circle. The sun in the, right? If a person is cold, what do? We go to the sun, talking about, right? We were just discussing moving to Florida, right? I came closer to the sun because I like warm weather. That's what it is, right? People who live in New York and have snow, they still have the sun. The sun is always there. And that's comfort. That's saying, I'm here to take care of you, right? The sun is the fruits, right? Even talking about the fruits in the Garden of Eden, right? The very famous fruit, the famous apple. Some people say it was a fig, but one way or another, it's a circular object. It's a circular fruit. People eat fruits and they, take care of their need to survive, to eat, right? Circle is care. Circle is knowing. If you look at the human being, a woman, a pregnant woman is circular, right? She has care and comfort. She carries a child within her womb. And that's circle, that's care. Actually, another important part to notice, circle is a female energy, just so you guys know. Circle is a female energy. And I think when I say that, most of you will not be surprised, since I mentioned so many times that circle is care and comfort, right? But as we know, we are, of course, talking general and anthropological, right? We're not talking about individual. Of course, every single individual will have a male and a female energy combined, and people have to learn how to combine it within themselves. But we're talking about the general anthropological explanation that female energy is about taking care and giving comfort, right? Kids know. You come to Papa and you say, Papa, I'm having this problem. And Papa will be like, let me help you. And Mama will be like, come, I'll give you a hug, right? Do you want a cookie? Do you want to, I'll just give you a hug. Do you want to talk about it, right? Female energy is about care. Female energy is about comfort, okay? That's something I wanted to mention. Circle is a female energy. Circle is an energy of comfort and care. If you have any stress, and that has been proven, by the way, if you have any stress, what you do, you take a piece of paper and just draw circles, just lots and lots of circles. It's actually similar to what we're going to do today, but I'm going to take it a bit different. I want you to, I want to bring yourself in here, okay? We can draw circles, but then I decided, why don't we bring our own self? Why don't we bring the individual? And just so you guys know, and you can start that, what I was telling you before, take your finger, take your hand, and go over the paper, okay, right here in the middle. The person goes in the middle. You are the center of your universe. No matter what anybody has told you before, I'm here to tell you, you are the center of your universe. Make it, bring it to your paper, okay? Make yourself the center of the universe on the paper. There you go, voila. Excuse me. Breathing in and out. You can go with your hands, touch your circle, go over with your finger and see how you feel. See how you feel when you put yourself in the center. Who are you? What are you? And this is the part where I will be inviting you to take a piece of paper that will be next to your picture. That's important to notice. And we're going to, and I'm actually going to do it right here. We're going to write, those of you who are familiar with Neurographica, we're going to write the 20 words. The 20 words. I mean, when I say 20 words, it's going to be at least 20 words, but don't get intimidated. If you don't like 20 words, that's okay. So it's just a goal, a beginning goal for you guys to aspire to. That's how you get your neurons work. That's how everybody start drawing neurographic, okay? I'm gonna do the 2 minutes. The goal is here, just for those of you who don't, who are not sure, who are new to Neurographica, who are doing this maybe first time, maybe the second time, but not so familiar. I just put in, I'm gonna put in 2 minutes, and you just write down whatever comes to your mind, okay? I'm gonna get up for a second. I wanna turn on my fan. It's a bit hot for me, but I'm gonna start the 2 minutes and just write whatever comes to your mind, okay? Whatever, even if it, first of all, write your goal. Today we're working with happiness, so we're gonna write the goal is happiness. If you have a more specific goal, let's say buying a house or getting a new job, becoming, opening your business, you can write it next to the word happiness, but happiness should be an integral part of your topic, okay, of your goal. And I'm going to turn on the 2 minutes. You can start writing the words, whatever comes to your mind, even if it has nothing to do with happiness or your topic or your goal, just write it down. Allow yourself, what I want you to be is to become aware of your thought process, right? It's kind of similar to the meditation process on a different side. Okay, ready, set, go. I'm going to turn on the fan and I'll be right back. I am back and writing with you. Excuse me. Okay, the 2 minutes are over. I invite you to stop. If you have like one or two thoughts that are lingering down there, you're welcome to bring it down. Otherwise, let's stop. Just count for yourself how many words you have, just to see how your awareness practice is going. How do you feel? What do you have within your awareness of your thought process, the way you bring in thoughts within the reality? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 31. I have 31, which is, like I said, the goal is 20. And then you can give yourself more goals. After 20, there is 30. After 30, there is 40, and so on. Sky is the limit. So what I'm inviting you to do, look at this list and just kind of circle out whatever you feel important. And here's that word happiness comes in, okay? When you think about happiness, what is relevant to your happiness? This is very important to pay attention. And right? So I'm looking at my list. I see like learning and teaching, both are important. And you can actually also create clusters, right? You can circle separate words, or you can create clusters where you circle few words together, okay? This is important. Why do we do this neural process, this writing down the brainstorm? Because this is how our neurons start working. We're more focused on the happiness now. Excuse me. We're more focused on happiness. We're more aware now of what happiness means to us, to me, myself, and I. And when we're going to draw now, we're going to draw something very interesting. We will be more aware. So what I'm inviting you to do is, after you did the first circle in the middle, okay, this is you, just draw another circle here, right around. And those of you who know what mandala is may notice a similarity to the mandala process, right? But can everybody see me and hear me? Everybody's fine? Yeah? Okay, I saw my video being frozen in one moment. The reason I'm inviting to do it with a pencil, just so you're kind of aware, we're going to put some circles around this. We're going to put some more circles around us. But I wanted, for those of you who are perfectionists, who want to make sure that you have a nice circle, that it would actually look like a circle. That's why I did it with a pencil. So going back to mandala, mandala is means circle in Sanskrit, and it does refer to that, to that special symbol, to that special meaning within the world, within the universe, how the universe kind of socializes, let's put it this way, socializes with a human being, right? And it's done through the circle. There are monasteries in like Tibet, and China, all those Buddhist monasteries, and people go to see, it's a whole ceremony. People come to watch Tibet monks create a mandala on the floor, and that's considered to be a sacred practice. People coming to watch how the circle, huge, giant mandalas are created. And what I'm inviting you, and we actually have a Neuro Mandala course that we had it live in November, I believe, December, and we're now offering it for sale. And over there, we discuss all kind of mandalas, okay? And today, we're actually also bringing in a little bit of an element of a mandala. What we're going to do here, see the circle? We're going to put more circles, and those circles will come from your list, okay? Now, important to note, you can take some words from the list, and you can and you can take the words that come to your mind, and you can just write it down. But the important aspect, what are we going to draw here? What are the circles referring to? The circles will refer to the happiness that we already have in our life. What are in each and every word, each and every symbol of happiness that we have in our life, we're going to bring it out of the circle. For example, my family is a source of happiness. This is the right word, the source of happiness. My family. I'm going to bring it down. And you can do some gratitude practice here. You can say thank you. You can do a little ho'oponopono and say, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And bring that energy of forgiveness and love within your relationship with your family, right? What else am I thankful for, right? I am thankful for myself. Every morning I wake up, excuse me, I can breathe, right? I open up my eyes and I can see. And I'm thankful for that, right? What else am I thankful for? I love Neurographica, right? We cannot possibly, that's over here in my list. I love Neurographica, and that's my source of happiness. I love teaching Neurographica. I love learning Neurographica. I love drawing Neurographica even by myself. Neurographica is definitely a source of happiness. By the way, if you would like, you can do that. You can, write a letter, or you can also just go by your list and put a number next to it, right? Let's say I have Kesef practice. I just finished that practice. I passed it yesterday. You can write that's number 1, okay? And then when you draw a circle, you can write number 1 or 2. And this way you know what sources are you referring to, okay? because we will be connecting ourselves to our source of happiness later on, okay? For now, just put those circles in, and then we will start the connection, okay? So I put in the, okay. So my kids, we have the holiday of Purim, the Jewish holiday of like dressing up and celebration, and, you know, masquerading is coming up. And my kids were talking about Harry Potter, you know, costumes for Harry Potter. They were discussing who is dressing up as what. And you know what? That was in my mind. I wrote it down. Harry Potter. I'll be honest with you. I love Harry Potter. I'm so happy my kids are avid Harry Potter fans. You know, we share that. I'm going to write Harry Potter is my source of happiness. Yes. You write down every single source, guys, no matter what it looks like, right? Whether it's like ever essent as your family, whether it's very personal, like Harry Potter, reading books. Let's talk about reading books. I love reading books, right? Don't have so much time. My Sabbath, my Shabbat time, you know, when I don't have to be on the computer, I'll be honest with you, when I don't have to think, what is the next course I'm preparing for, right? Right now we're starting, and I'm going to start talking about it openly. We're starting getting ready for the instructor's course in English. And part of my job is translating all those wonderful books and articles that Pavel Piscariov, the founder of Neurographica, wrote. That's my job. I'm translating. I did one article yesterday, went to sleep at 2:00, tired, but I was so happy that I got to accomplish this. And it's funny because that's how the universe works, right? The article I got to translate was an article about neurocomposition, right? How everything works. And this is what I would like to tell you. My source of happiness is, you know, working with Pavel, working with the Institute for Psychology of Creativity to bring Neurographic to the English speaking audience, you know. And it's interesting to note, and I would like for you guys to know, neurocomposition is not just about shapes. It's not just about the neurographic alphabet. That's a part of it. Another part of it, how do you position the shapes in the right order, in the right placement within the paper to reach your goal? And this is where we get to the next level. When you take the basics, all you want to learn is how to draw Neurographica, just how to make it, you know, this amazing part of who you are. But, and that's important to note, once you pass the basic level, you know, it's like when you grow up as a child, everything is given to you, and all you want to do is, Mommy, I love you. Can I have candy? Can I have chips? Mommy, I'm hungry. Can you give me something to eat? Mommy, can you put me to sleep? You're taken care of. But when you grow up, you start understanding that life is not just about, you know, getting what you want. Life is also about thinking further, right? This is how children learn to play chess. Actually, anybody? You think a step ahead, right? My brother is a chess master, so I'm aware of it. And what's number one thing? And you, by the way, that's not just a chess strategy. And that's the word strategy. You learn how to use strategic planning, strategic drawing to bring any of your plans to fruition, right? You're planning a business, you will figure out which shape goes with which aspect of your business, and then you strategically plan it on the paper. How does it go? And that's what we will be learning in neurocomposition. Where are you in the paper? Where are you within your planning, within your new business that's coming up? Okay, that's important to know. That's a little getting off, just wanted to explain to you. But let's get back to our circles, right? The sources of happiness. You know what? This circle came without a specific attachment to it. I'm going to bring it in. Guys, bring in circles that don't even have a specific meaning to you. Maybe you just don't remember it, but don't you have so many things to be grateful for? Don't you have so many sources of happiness? And if you tell me, no, I don't, then I'm going to tell you even more so. Just draw circles and you will get those sources of happiness in your life, okay? What would be this circle? I'm looking in my list. This circle is Kesef, right? I passed the certification yesterday. I've been leading Kesef. Kesef is a psychology of money. It's an amazing program where we work with the person's blocks, inhibitions, all the hang-ups, all the very deep subconscious thoughts and understanding about what money is, okay? And You know what? I did the game yesterday, and now I'm certified to lead individual games. I've been doing the online game for quite some time, for a few months. Now I'm doing the individual. And you know what? I had so much fun doing it. I'm going to put it in as a source of happiness, right? Now, what else is a source of happiness? I live in Orlando. So me going to all those Universal parks, no Disney yet, but Universal, SeaWorld, I love it. That was part of why I moved to Orlando. I enjoy, first of all, the animals in SeaWorld. I enjoy, enjoy the wildlife here. I enjoy, the nature is beautiful in here, right? I enjoy going to the parks. I enjoy all those rides. You know, I feel it's so important. I was talking to a friend of mine in New York, and she's like, "I'm coming to visit you." She's like, "I've been stressed. She had COVID. She just got over COVID. So those of you who know about COVID, hi Ellen, I see you on Facebook. Those of you who, what's the name of what you did yesterday, Lana? Kesef. That's Kesef. That's called Kesef, the psychology of money. That's what I just drew this circle for. It's an amazing, amazing game. I did it 3 times, and let me tell you, every time I did it, my income grew 3 times. Okay, I'm not even joking. Money came from all kinds of different sources, and I teach you how to specify which source you want to do it. And just want to tell you, before that, like I said, I was in education. Can you spell it? Yes, it's Kesef. I'll show it to you. I'll be making more videos and more explanations about it. Okay, Kesef, psychology. Yeah, psychology of money. Okay. I'm leading an online game now. If anybody wants to join, you're welcome to PM me. There is an online version and there is a live version, I mean, nowadays it's still over Zoom, but it's like you get together and within 2-3 hours, you figure out, you get to the bottom of all the necessary, inhibitions and blocks. You work through trauma. There's so many things. Like I said, I did it 3 times. I was so impressed with it that when the trainer, Svetlana Gorbat, she's a Russian-speaking trainer. She's situated in Odessa, in Ukraine. When she offered training for trainers to become a trainer, I just jumped in. I said, yes, this is what I've been wanting. And I've been wanting it. That's important to keep in mind. You want it first. Desire comes first. Let's get back to our circles and look at what we're doing. We're creating a cluster of circles, okay? I want to make sure we're creating a nice bracelet here, okay, guys? That's important for this picture, for what we're doing today. What else am I adding? I'm looking at my list. Is there anything in here that I would like to add? Okay, Ho'oponopono caught my eye. I love Ho'oponopono. It's an important integral part of my practice. Okay, I do it all the time, and I did all kind of training. I did a training with Joe Vitale. I have a certification from him. I did a training with not Dr. Who himself, but the group that he created, the focusing, the I identity, self-identity. I love Ho'oponopono. I think it's so amazing. It's very, very powerful, right? You have to know how to do it. Like I learned how to do it in an appropriate way, in the way where it will lead you somewhere. And I love it, okay? What else? What else are and I'm looking over here, laughter, right? I do that, right? If somebody's sad, I bring in the laugh therapy, right? What do? I tell that person or myself, just, make yourself laugh. And that's right. First, you just force it. You say, ha, 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 ha. As soon as you put your mouth within a smile, you're going to feel that your body changes, right? Your muscles changes, your structure of your face changes, and you start thinking, oh, laughing. And you can start laughing, right? I encourage people to laugh out. My clients, I encourage to laugh out loud, right? So important to laugh out loud. Not just, smile, but say, ha, 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 ha. I invite you to practice it now. As soon as you make that, even forced laughter, I promise you, you will want to smile more and you will want to laugh out loud. I've been wanting to, don't get a chance yet. I have to work on my timeline. I have to work on my scheduling, but I want to do like morning, maybe every 2-3 days, morning laughing therapy, you know, maybe evening laughing therapy. I think people will truly enjoy it, right? Just get together and laugh for 5 minutes nonstop. I promise you, it is bound to change your, you know, your chemical kind of balance within your body. When people laugh, the endorphin come to your mind. You get a more boost of, you know, that happiness chemical within your mind, the endorphin, right? That encouragement, that excitement, right? What else am I putting in? Okay, create that cluster. Okay, and I'm thinking, what else? My interest. Oh, my courses, right? I went into my learning mode this year. January came and I started taking new sessions. I thought about it hard. I mean, I always learn something, right? And I know what this is. This is my MAC, metaphoric associative cards. I love them. I think they're amazing. That's what I learned about a year and a half ago. And I started using them right away within my practice. I remember doing the MAC, combining metaphoric cards with Neurographica. People love it. I am thinking I'm going to do more. I want to do more. Like I said, I just need to find time. As soon as I figure out the time it's happening. What else? You know, creating, that's what it is. Creating new courses, right? I teach certified courses, but I'm also creating new courses, something on my own. Like right now, I'm in the middle of creating a NeuroTree course, not just one type of NeuroTree. I'm going to bring in 10 types of NeuroTree that people can start utilizing amazingly within their practice. Those of you who are a specialist, you can take this course and I will offer the option to buy the trainer's edition. Those of you who passed the specialist course, you can teach NeuroTree to others. And I'm going to bring in my course. I'm going to offer the training part. You know, if you want to be teaching this course yourself, you will have that option. I think it's so amazing, right? Creating something new, right? Like I was talking to my colleague, my friend, and we opened up a new group together. And she was saying she loved teaching the certified course, but she said this year, I'm creating my own courses. And she said, I love it. It's so new and invigorating to create, you know, and that's a part of symbolism. Circle is nature, right? Circle is a tree that grows, right? It kind of looks like a tree if you cut the tree, right? Now, what is a triangle? Triangle, just to give you a glimpse into the neurocomposition. I'm going to cheat a bit here. Okay, don't tell Margarita I told you this, okay? She told me, make sure you let people know that not everything from neurocomposition you're telling them. I promise her, because I like to give all the secrets out. She told me she'd like people watch your class and they don't want to come to the course because you teach everything. And I said, I can't help it, right? Rain knows that, right? Right, Rain? She tells me all the time, like, I always give so much knowledge. So triangle, just to give you a glimpse, is a male energy, right? Not going into stuff here. We're open on Facebook here. But triangle is a male energy, right? It has sharp ends. Look at this. It has 3 angles. 3. No angles in the circle, right? Females are all about caring and let me accommodate you, right? And my husband tells me when he fights with my son and he tells him, you have to do this and you have to do that. And I'm like, maybe you let him. And she's like, yeah, sure. You're going to mother him now, right? You're going to smother him. And that's what mothers are, right? I mean, my kids know sometimes I'm the strict one, but in general, female energy is about smothering. Let me take care of you. Here, lie on the couch. I'll bring you the food, right? Male energy is like about, get up, go work. Okay. Male energy is like, go make some money. Okay. Go create something. Find a way to bring in money into this world. Find a way to provide support for your family, take care of it. Again, we're not talking about men and women. I want you to be very keenly aware of that. I taught a class about it, and a friend of mine, she's a friend of mine, she came up afterwards. She's like, Lana, I must tell you that I have different views about men and women. I don't think it should be only men's job to bring in money, and it should be only women's job to take care of the kids. And I was like, that's not what I said at all. I said male energy and female energy. It's important to know that. We're talking anthropologically. Nowadays, guys, everybody have both of them. We all know that, right? So it's about male energy getting up and saying, okay, I need to provide for my family. Going to the nature, that's my favorite example. Cutting up some wood, right? Cutting up the trees. We're not going into the green piece now. That's not what I'm about. I'm just saying, fine, going to Home Depot and buying some, but I'm going to use anthropological, cutting up. Because what do we use to cut up wood? We use sharp objects. We use an axe. Axe has what? Axe has a nice sharp angle. There you go, right? Males use the tools, right? And what do we do with that wood? We build a house. We build a square. We build a shelter for our family, for ourselves. Remember when we talked about those primal people? What were their needs? Let's go to the Maslow pyramid. What is he talking about? He talks about that the basic primal needs of a human being is shelter, food, clothes, right? How do we make clothes? We take a needle. Yes, the answer is not buying from China, guys. The answer is taking needles and sewing. I used to sew when I was little. I loved it. You know what part I love? The creation part. I would create my own fashions, my own style, whatever it was, a dress, a skirt. I loved it. But you do use a needle. You use a sharp object. This is a tool. You use a material, which comes most of the time, if we're talking about cotton or linen, it's natural based. It comes from, cotton is cotton that grows from its nature, basically. Linen is also, it comes from the tree, right? And then you build something of your own. A square is something that the human being builds by combining the tools, the smartness, the brain, the hands that God gave us, right? And utilizing natural resources. We build something of our own, right? We build our own company. We create something our own. Okay, that's what neurocomposition is about. We're going to discuss each shape separately, each shape deeper, going deeper and understanding what is the essence of it. And most importantly, how do we use it within our goal? Whatever your goal is, whether it's a business goal or it's a personal goal. I want to build a relationship. I want to build a family. Even when it comes to relationship, hey, we're coming around Valentine's Day, right? How do I schedule where I meet my spouse, my significant other, and we stay together? Do I want it to be sporadic? Boom, I fell in love. And then, you want to leave a little to chance. You want to plan things out. And Neurographica planning is the best planning. Let's get back to our picture. Look what happened here. Now, look at the magic we're going to create now. Take that circle within yourself. Do you see this beautiful cluster of sources of happiness he created? Let's connect to them, okay? Go from the middle of yourself and connect to each and every circle, stopping right here by the outline of your circle, right? The second circle. Start from the middle, just watch what I'm doing and connect. As you connect, it's important to breathe in and actually feel, what does your body feel? How does your body react to your connection? As I'm connecting, I actually started feeling my stomach, right? I started feeling the changes within myself as I connect to each and every source of happiness within my surrounding, okay? Breathing in and out, this is so important. I want to reiterate it. Very important to breathe as you connect. If you have numbers, if you know what each source means, you can do it even more consciously, right? You can do it even more, you can do the Ho'oponopono. You can say, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I go further. I learned the advanced Ho'oponopono, so I do go further, and it goes like this. The answer, the universe, the God gives you answer back, and it tells you, I forgive you. God, or I say, God forgives myself. God loves myself. And then I say, Besimcha. Besimcha in Hebrew means always be joyous, always be in happiness. There is that word. For me, happiness is not something I strive for. Happiness is what I start with every single morning. I have a morning practice. I wake up, I don't get up. First of all, within Judaism, just for some of you, just want to explain something. When we wake up every morning, there's a first phrase that comes out of our mind, out of our mouth. We say, Thank you, God, for giving me back my soul so I can fulfill myself. And there are countless lectures on what it means. Every single word has a meaning within it. What does it mean, myself? Let's talk about myself, the word myself. Myself is my potential, why I came to this world. What is the reason? What is my goal in this world? Look at this. I connected to every single one of my circles. Go around. Remember, everybody, rule number one, what do we do? Rounding. Absolutely. We do rounding, right? Rounding is such an important practice. And when you do the rounding, remember the transformation happens on all levels. It happens within your mind as you think about your subject or your goal or your source of happiness. It happens within your emotion, and that's why you bring in the happiness. You can laugh a little bit and you can say, and it really happens on the physical level. We know that. How do we know that? Because first and foremost, we see it. That's what Neurographica is about. It's taking the law of attraction, that vision board, to the whole new level. It's about bringing in within one's reality, making it realistic, a practical part of who you are. And it's about your goals actually coming true. Your goals can stay a fantasy. We can imagine. We can do a lot of affirmations, but there are such things as inhibitions and blocks. I work with that within the money, KESF, the psychology of money program. I work a lot within that because that's exactly what we're working. We're working on removing the blocks. So all of those positive affirmations, all of those, positive thoughts and positive thinking that you have, they're actually going through your level of surrounding, because we all know that, we all have a lot of inner children who may be happy, maybe not so happy, right? And we need to find them, first of all. A lot of them are hidden. We need to bring them to the surface. And we need to work with them. We need to listen to them, right? We need to maybe say, I'm sorry, right? We need to, basically, the right word is transform. Bring all of the awareness, acceptance, right? All of these words, right? They're like popular words, they're cliche words in a way. But if you know how to utilize it in the correct proper processing is very important, then that's what we're doing. As one amazing practice I discovered as part of the KESF program is called DP4. It's a truly amazing, it's DP4 created by Zhidomir Slavinsky. He's a Yugoslavian, I believe, psychologist. So fascinating, guys. I want to tell you, so fascinating. Hi, Micheline. Fascinating practice, fascinating. It's about, and it's interesting how I notice even there, it's about that awareness practice that we do within Neurographica, paying attention to your thoughts, to your feelings, to your body reactions, but taking it on a bit different level. He brought in acupressure within that practice, and that works wonders. I love that practice. I utilize it. It's great for turning a negative emotional experience into a positive. And, that's what it is. Slowly going part by part, one by one, and transforming every single bit of your life, transforming it, going through acceptance, utilizing all kind of different practices, transformational practices, and bringing it to life, bringing it to true fruition. Utilizing, practicing within your life and bringing it on a practical level, when I started my journey within, positive thinking and all of that, I remember doing one practice when I had a traumatic experience within my childhood. And I did a practice, different practices, going back into the past and kind of transforming that experience, right? Turning it into a positive experience, right? I remember seeing the traumatic experience. The traumatic experience involved like something between my mother and my father, right? So you imagine, I don't remember how old I was. I imagine I was definitely before the age of 4. So it definitely was a traumatic. And I learned this technique of just kind of transforming, turning that experience into a happy one, where I learned how to become, how to turn it into a happy one, like mom and dad are hugging each other and all of that. And for a long time, that's what I had. I completely kind of reimagined that whole experience. And then I turned it into a positive one. But it always kept haunting back. Every time I would go into any trauma situation, every time I would work through any traumatic or, use any traumatic or stress practice, that experience would come back to me. And I felt very like, I was wondering what's going on. As I was undergoing the trauma therapy, shock trauma therapy, dealing with shock trauma, something that's really shocking and left an impact on the whole life. My trainer, by the way, it's the same trainer that taught the Kesef. She's a shock trauma therapist. I would totally suggest to all of you guys, except she doesn't speak English. She's phenomenal, just want to tell you. She went back into that experience and she told me this. She said, you transform the experience without actually taking out the negativity. And as a result, the experience, the trauma continuing lingering within your life. And she said that it's important to work through the trauma. Yes, one part is transforming it, but if you didn't work, if you blocks and trauma are hidden, they're really hidden vessels of resources. Unless you uncover and deal with it, the resources will not come out. And that's what it was, right? That's what I'm working with within that training, how to bring it out, how to work with trauma and bring out the resources. And it's so fascinating, guys. Those of you who are interested into a glimpse of what it's about, I invite you to read the book by Peter Levine, Levine. It's called Taming the Tiger, I believe. He's the utmost expert in trauma therapy. It's not very, it's a very concentrated book, but it's not for psychologists, by the way. It's for like regular people reading and understanding how trauma works. And it's so fascinating, I must tell you that. It's absolutely interesting. It's absolutely integral, I think, for any human being. Okay. Now, as I was talking to you, as I was conversing to you, I am looking at this and look what happened. Pay attention to what happened. What's going on with you guys? Are you guys finished circling? Are you in the process of circling? Let me know. Should I go ahead? Can I explain to you what we're doing further? But I just want to bring your attention to something very interesting here. Look what happened to that circle of you. That circle of you is nice and small. Look at this. Remember? Look what happened. It expanded. As you added the connection to each and every single source of your happiness, that circle expanded. What you are, you're not this little circle anymore. You became much bigger. Right? And now you look at your figure, how do you feel, right? You can go around. This is who you are. Your sources of happiness are a part of who you are and they bring you up. They expand you. Remember those resources we talk about? The coaching word. I call it the coaching word, resources. The resources hidden within your sources of happiness have been uncovered. You brought them out. You opened them up. You connect them to yourself. You open them up, and now this is who you are, your bigger self, okay? What we're going to do, we're going to add another layer of mandala circle, okay? And I mean mandala is just this big circle, okay? It's a general circle. Of course, I'm also adding it with my pencil. Voila, there you go, okay? What are we gonna put in here, you're gonna ask me, right? We put our sources of happiness here. And here's the coaching part comes in, right? My specialist students know I tell them, this is the coaching part and this is the fun part, right? But the truth is you should be utilizing both. And I'm trying to make coaching and Neurographica fun for you guys. Neurographic is fun, Neurographic is beautiful. Most importantly, Neurographic is practical. That's what it's all about. That's what Pavel always talks about. He's an artist, he's an architect, and he says the best part is combining both, designing your life the way you want it to be. And that's what neurocomposition is about. How do you design? It's a neuro design of your life. I'm going to write it here, right? I think Pavel should name it neuro design, because it's really about designing your life. How do you position all the shapes on the paper where they interact in the right way? And that's also, see what we did? Neural line, connecting, using the neural line, part of the neural alphabet, to connect it in the right way, okay? Let's say you have a business. You want to be connecting with one person. You want to be connecting with another, but you don't want both of them connecting together. That's called strategy, right? And that's what you do. You do your strategy. You know how people have business plans? You use Neurographica. Neurographica as a way to a business plan. And when we talk about business plan, we all know business plan is not just about business. Business plan is about your life. Selling a house is a business plan. Learning, I'm taking some courses now. We're going to put it in here now, right? What we want to achieve in life. That's what I want you to do. And if you have it in your, by the way, over here, we have resources that we would like to achieve, okay? Resources that we are working on, our resources of happiness for the future. It could be something you're working on now. Like right now, I'm taking an amazing course called the Pyramid of Development, another triangle, and it's really amazing. It's another creation of Pavel, and it's truly amazing. And that's going to be in my list. I'm going to write it here. PD, oh, I have it here. I have it somewhere here. Here it is, PD, there you go. Pyramid of Development. I'm taking few courses. Like I said, I started this year with the bag. I started taking courses. I'm taking something called Bogoban. It's based on the Go game. Anybody, Bogoban, if anybody heard of the Chinese game called Go, it's similar to chess. It's about strategy, and it's an amazing, powerful thing. One by one, let's go. What we're going to put in the outer circle, our sources of happiness that we are building, we're working on. Let's say your circle of happiness, you want to have a baby. That should be your circle, right? You want to build a family. That should be your circle, your proposed circle of happiness. It could be something you already started, or it could be something you're really planning to start and you're not sure. You bring it in here, you can write down the name just so you know, have an awareness, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to write it here. I'm going to write PD. And then you do the same thing. You write the number so you can refer. You don't have to write the word inside. You can just write the number. Bogoban. Bogoban is an amazing, amazing tool we created. Also learning spirals, right? A new aspiring neural element within the neural alphabet. Spiral, I just took a course, and that's going to be also offered by me. I'm going to offer the spirals course, right? It's absolutely fascinating, the spirals. What else? I'm learning something called multi-personality. Multi-personality, right? Now you're going to tell me, Lana, this is not a special education class. And I'm going to tell you, you know, all of those ADHD people, and I have so many people, I have friends who come up and say, you know, Lana, I'm an ADHD. I'm like, why do you think so? Have you been diagnosed? They're like, no, I start doing something and then I don't finish it and then I want to do something else. And this course, also created by Pavel, he's amazing. I find him to be an interesting person to follow. And he said, take all those different dimensions of who you are and utilize it, make it functional, okay? So I'm going to start bringing it in, because I don't want to just talk about it. I want to bring it within my space. Remember, paper is your life. This is you. This is expanded you. And let's start bringing in, what do we want? What are we looking in life? Bring in your aspects, the goals, the hidden, the future sources of happiness. Remember, our goal is happiness. What makes us happy? The PD course, number one, really makes me happy. It's a very analytical tool. It's amazing. Like I said, I'm preparing now. I'm going to make a lot of open sessions about what it is. If you're a coach, it's an amazing tool to learn. And even if you're not a coach, if you're a person, you know, you want to utilize it within your own personal life, you're welcome to learn. You're welcome to come and attend classes. I'm going to do open sessions teaching what it's about. Spirals is going to be my second circle. I want to bring the awareness of what spirals are, just like what we're going to learn in NeuroComposition, what I told you guys about the deep understanding of about every single shape, right? And by the way, just giving you another hint, circle, never beginning, never ending. That's love, that's care from the universe, from God. It's never ending and it's never beginning. It's was there before, it's always here now, and it will always be in the future, just for you guys to understand. It's that ever essence, that's what I called it. Okay, what's my next circle? What's my next future source of happiness? I love happiness, right? I love talking about happiness. I love teaching about happiness. I find it to be a very good, you know, energy. As you bring it in, by the way, see how it goes. Go intuitively. This is very important. Do you go intuitively? What did I bring in? I don't remember what this was. Okay, just gonna open it. You can leave an open circle, by the way. Even if you, let's say you drew a circle and you're like, oh, I don't know what it refers to. It's fine. But remember, go intuitively, right? Even though spirals was number 3, I put it first, right? And also see where on the paper do you want to put them. The way you position them around yourself is so important. Pay attention to all of those details, okay? Pay attention to the position where you're putting your resource, where you are. You know what you can do? You can feel yourself as you look at this resource. We're going to draw lines a little further on, but just for now, how do you feel? Like this gives me such a source of happiness. As soon as I look at it, I feel joyous, okay? I want to put Bogovan, this amazing, amazing tool. Those of you, if any of you are familiar with Hellinger, Bert Hellinger, constellations, you know, the family system, the ancestral system, it's so fascinating. And it's about using, you know, like using a surface of the paper to understand where does your energy lie in relation to yourself, to others, to your goal, okay? I want to do a course. Remember I said about NeuroTree course? I started developing it, right? It's a NeuroTree course. I love NeuroTree. It's one of my favorites. Actually, it's my favorite. Number one, if you tell me, Lana, what is one algorithm, if you can draw one now, what is one algorithm you would teach to anybody? And I teach it to my specialist course students. I would say the NeuroTree. I find it to be one of the most powerful, one of the most transformational algorithm, right? And within the specialist course, those of you, I know there's one person here is my specialist student, an amazing student. I just want to bring it out. The way I teach NeuroTree is I give, just like the way I teach everything else, deep understanding what is a NeuroTree. When you start understanding what NeuroTree is, I promise you, you're going to fall in love with it as well. You're going to want to draw it all the time, okay? NeuroTree course is definitely my future source of happiness. It's actually starting now. I love when I sit down and develop it. I am so fascinating. What else? The multi-personality program course. I just started it and it's so interesting. So I definitely want to bring it. And remember, some projects are going to be, you know, something near the future or maybe further future, but it's in your future. You bring it in. And here's a little hint for you guys. Once you bring it in, you're going to turn it into a source of happiness, okay? So if you are, like, I'm going to use that again, Valentine's Day is coming up. If your goal is creating a family, if your goal is meeting that special someone, you bring it in here and you say, you give it an intention, you know, you give it an intention. You say, I'm making my future significant other my goal of happiness. I mean, my source of happiness. Once you bring it in, you bring it in the paper, you're creating that. You bring it into your reality, okay? And you know what? Saying that, my source of happiness in the future will always be my family, my kids, my husband, you know, my family, my brother, my relatives. I love all of them. I don't live near them now. And it's okay because it's pandemic, so you don't visit that much anyway. So that was like, okay, I can move out of New York. When my husband was saying, you know, we don't know anybody. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We don't visit anybody anyway, right? We socialize on the phone and Zoom nowadays. What else? You know what's my source of happiness? My source of happiness is going to Holy Land. I go almost every single year. It's a part of my job. I am a counselor. I'm a leader in something called Birthright. Birthright is like every person who wants to visit Israel, the Holy Land, they have a right to. They get different sources, different ways to do it. You know, Christian people visit it because it's connected. And I actually been to different Christian holy sites within Israel, and I find it to be so fascinating. The amount of people come. Muslim people go have an association with Israel, with Jerusalem as a holy city. Jewish people, I think it's a fascinating country, you know. No politics here, no controversy, just the country itself. It's a beautiful country. The nature is amazing there. The sites is amazing there. The engineering, the startups, you know, what people do with ecology there, what people do with nature. They create energy out of natural sources like no before. I've been to the desert, the Negev desert. They found a way to create energy from like trees and stuff. I can't explain to you. I'm not a physicist, not a chemist, but the way they do it is fascinating. I love it. And I'm going to bring it in here. I missed going to Israel, to the Holy Land this year. I truly, truly missed it. I love it. I find so many connections there. I connected on a spiritual level. I connect, like I said, on a practical level. It's truly fascinating. If you haven't been, I advise you to go. Again, politics aside, controversy aside, that's not what it's about. It's about this energy, okay? It's the energy of the place, right? Talking about, let's say, energy of the place. I've been to Paris, right? I love Paris, right? Same thing. I was planning to go this year, past year, 2020. Plans fell through. I want to go, right? I was talking to my husband. I'm like, let's go this weekend. He's like, are you sure it's going to be open? I said, I don't know. But maybe if I draw it, it will be open. I'm planning to go to Moscow this year. We have a whole huge conference for all the Neurographica instructors, right? I'm so looking forward to that. I'm planning to go. I already planned what my kids are going to do when I'm going to be away, you know? You plan it, you put it in, you work on it, you draw it, it will come to your life. I've had so many fascinating stories. Maybe I'll create a separate video. Now, let's get back. You put in, now around you, it's your choice. You can put them widespread. You can create a cluster if you want. It's your choice. My choice, I'm choosing it to put it like this. Maybe later on I'll add, I'm thinking, maybe I'll add another circle here, right? The more, the better. What's this circle is about? I think it's a Moscow trip. It's a trip to the Moscow in the summer, in July, for the conference of all the instructors. We missed it last year. Now, what do? Same thing. You start from the very middle, from who you are. This little tiny circle that was created as a result of your connections to your resources, it's your soul. How about I go Kabbalistic on you? Because we are planning a Neurosphirot course with my colleague, with Alina, right? Some of you know Alina, you're going to go to your class very soon, right? And that's what we're going to do. Kabbalistically, this is your soul, the essence of who you are. Connect the essence of who you are to go through your present self, go through the present sources of happiness, and connect to the future sources of happiness. And now this is important, go beyond, okay? Go to the end of the paper. Connect to who you are, go through the sources of happiness and connect. Now, let's say you would take this cool class with me and I would have 3 hours to teach you. But I would teach you, and you can do this within the, within the privacy of yourself. Remember the sources of happiness that we put on the first level? Remember how I told you can mark what each one is? The way you position the outer layer can be directly connected to your inner layer, okay? You can build upon it. That's like going deeper. If you want to do, let's say if I would have 3 hours, that's what I would do. I would analyze each and every circle over here and then position my outer circle as connecting, because remember, when we draw the line, we're going through the first circles of happiness, sources of happiness, and then connecting. So you want to make sure that the pathway is kind of related to it, right? If you're drawing a business, if you're connecting to your business goal, you want to go through the source of happiness. That's like your knowledge, that's your, your work, your colleagues. If you're connecting to the source of family, then you want to connect it through different source. You want to connect through the source of your previous source, your existing source of good qualities. You have a good character. That's important, right? You're a kind person. That's, by the way, can be your source of happiness too, who you are, your qualities, your wonderful qualities. You're an amazing person. You can do that too, by the way. You can make a list of, why do I love myself? This would be a great topic for loving myself, by the way. Again, so many different ways you can do it, right? Okay, going through, I connected to all of them. I'm doing one line. You can do twice if you want. You can do twice. I'm going to do one just because I want to be able to finish this class and connect, give you all the necessary information, yet still be able to go through the rounding process. I don't want to leave it off. Rounding is an important, integral part. If I leave it off, it's like leaving all those, you're bringing in this beautiful plants, but if you don't kind of like, if you don't make them safe, they can come in, but they will poke you. I don't want any wonderful new goals of mine to be poking me. I want them to be happy and comfortable. That's what rounding is all about. Rounding is a potential circle. Within each rounding is a potential circle. That's where rounding came in. Rounding refers to circling, mini circle, that tiny potential of a circle within every time we make anything round. We take away the edginess. We take away now. And that's what we're going to discuss. In some areas, you will need an edginess, right? Like when I work with a Kesef game, and let's say it's for people who want to open up business, we actually work on bringing in that scary word, aggressiveness, right? That scary word, aggressiveness, is scary because it has been utilized in a very negative connotation, right? But if you start using it as the way, aggressiveness means a surge of energy. And that's what we'll discuss. How to bring in a surge of energy, how to utilize triangles in a way where they will be safe and they will bring you source of energy, not kind of bring you, a way to, because remember, when you create conflicts, is like kind of putting in, like giving your energy away for a wrong reason, okay? It's one of those things, it's when you want to grow your business and instead of growing it, you start kind of like, start paying attention, what do the people who are, what do you call that? What do people who offer the same thing as you do? What do they do? You start watching them, you start paying attention. Instead of creating and developing your own business, you start paying attention to what the other people have achieved in their life, right? And it could be, it could be a good thing. You can see what others achieved and that would be an inspiration to you, right? I have inspirational people within my life, right? Neurographic instructors within my life who I find to be so inspirational, right? Most of them are Russian speaking. I see what they developed. I see the way they work. Pavel Piskaryov, the founder of Neurographica, is quite inspirational, right? And that's important to understand whether you bring in your energy for inspiration, you watch other people for inspiration, or you watch them for envy reasons. You say, how come they did this? And that's what we discuss, how to bring in a triangle, that source of aggressive energy, that higher energy. It's very strong, very powerful energy. But how do you bring it in without hurting yourself, without poking your own self, without making yourself, feel little? It's so important to pay attention. The people you find you want to be inspired, you want to follow, it's very important to know, to understand that you're using them to grow. If they bring in that the feeling that you are small and you will never achieve what they did, That's the wrong energy. That's what, and oh, by the way, it's very important to note, we also discuss how to bring in all of those shapes and not get stuck in them, okay? Let's say the circle. Taking things and getting things is amazing. You have to be very careful not to get stuck in it, you know? You have to understand that there is a balance. You have to take and you have to give, right? If you only draw circles, you will learn how to take things. You will be a taker because circle is about giving. Now, of course, it's all about intention. That's another aspect we'll bring in, right? When you draw a circle, do you draw that things would be given to you? Or do you draw a circle that you would give things out, right? That balance, right? Talking about the family, the constellation, Bert Hellinger, and any other people regarding the, you know, like paradigmal analysis and all of that. How does it work within lifetime energy, within the energy of people socializing with each other? One of the major rules is the energy of balance. What you give, what you take must be given also, right? You take from one person, you give to another, right? I love the family systems. Oh, that's another, right? There was an empty core circle. That's my course. I'm going to write here, the family system course. I love it. People have been asking me, I've been using it within my sessions, and people ask me, can we do a separate, like a course, a separate session on it? Because it's so fascinating when you learn about all of those laws, the laws of balance, right? Giving and taking, the laws of family hierarchy, right? You can never give to your parent. You can only take from your parent. You take from your ancestry and you give um, to your children, to your offspring. That's important to note. And it's important, that's what we do in Kesef, by the way. We work on that. We'll figure out if there is a disbalance within the family system, right? If you feel like, right, and there's like have a discussion, right? A lot of time we have a lot of, that's like Freudian psychology comes in, right? When we discuss our relationship with parents, we all know that relationship with parents is the major way we interact with others, whether it's our family, our husband, or whether it's strangers, even or at work, you know, whether it's a boss, male boss or female boss, we all have different ways we interact with females and males around us. And they're all honestly shaped by our interaction in childhood. And that's what we work on. We figure out what is our pattern of interaction with our parents, and do we want to transform it? Okay, that is a word, the major word when it comes to Neurographica. I have finished my outer circle. I honestly feel like I want to add a few more lines. I'm going to do it quickly. I'm going to actually not do it because I want to make sure I bring in the color in here. And I want to make sure I finish this picture with you guys, okay? I'm going to start adding color. How do you choose color? Color goes automatically. I mean, intuitively, sorry. Automatically is almost like intuitively, okay? You can do two ways, okay? You can look at the source. Again, you can go very deep and you can say, number one is my pyramid of development. And you can start thinking, what energy is that? And if you're familiar, by the way, I'm inviting you all to my Neurocolor course. That will be in the beginning of March, and that's what we will be discussing. What is the energy of the color? And how does it relate to Neurographic? How do you use color? Again, for the same reason, remember? For strategic planning, for achieving your goal, getting what you want. And it's not about control. It's about figuring out. It's about organization. It's about organizing and structuring your thought. That's what we did in the beginning, right? This neuro brainstorm, what it's about. It's about being aware of your thoughts are and start understanding, are they taking you where you want to be? Okay, what are your thoughts about? If you want to build, let's go straight for it. Do you want to become a Neurographic instructor, for example? Are your thoughts about becoming a bookkeeper or an accountant? I mean, you can do that. You can become an accountant. That's not my point. My point is being a Neurographic instructor and being an accountant are kind of two different separate directions within a person's life, right? By the way, I have colleagues who were accountants and they became Neurographic instructor, but that's not what I'm saying here, right? I just want to bring this awareness. When you become aware of what your thoughts are, you're going to start understanding what you should be thinking more. What should you be bringing more within your reality, within your life, okay? Now, going back to color, two ways. One way would be looking, like I said, deep and say, what color do I want to bring to the pyramid of development, you know? Another way would be very intuitive. You just say, you know what, this circle, and you look at your pencils or your markers or your highlighter and say, this pencil just came to my hand. It's a purple one. And let's intuitively feel, where would it go? And I'm putting it here. Okay, I'm going to color this purple. Don't ask me why. I can give you lots of reasons. That's what we do within the coaching course. Actually, me and Margarita, my colleague within the world of Neurographica, we offer that. We offer coaching Wednesdays where people come in and have a coaching session and they learn. They learn how to use Neurographica professionally, how to use it within actual coaching, you know. We actually offer it. Our specialist students are amazing. And we created the coaching Wednesdays in mind for them, because when you take a specialist course, you have to give it in cases, like kind of cases where you discuss how you draw Neurographica. The specialist course is about teaching it to others, right? Once you take the specialist course, it's an amazing course. We will be offering it. The next time we're doing it live is in May. I have people who say we want to do it earlier. And I say, you're welcome to come into the course and just do the recording, you know, start listening to the lecture because there is so much in it. And then you can attend the live courses, the live sessions, and kind of be like more prepared because there's a lot of knowledge in there. But basically that's what we do for the specialist course. We offer our students to be a part of the Coaching Wednesday program, where we show them how Neurographica can be amazingly used within coaching. When I say coaching, it's not just professional. It can be anybody, you know, drawing with a friend. Your friend comes over and she's like, oh, I have this issue. And you say, let me help you. Let me show you how we can do it through this amazing tool called Neurographica. The next pencil came to my mind, to my hand, is, I would say, blue. And here, the blue just went to the pyramid of development. There you go. I'm going to make it blue. Now, just to give you kind of insight into the neurocolor course, right? Because I just feel so, what do you call it? I hope Margarita is not watching it, because she's going to be telling me, again, you're telling what the course is about. Let them come and learn within the course. But I'm going to tell that the blue color, and that's what we'll learn, right? The blue color, the neurocolor course, just to give you an idea, is based upon the 5 elements, the usin, the way you want to pronounce it. And the blue color is the color of wisdom. The blue is also being comfortable, you know. The blue is about being comfortable, you know. It's going in the water and swimming and loving it. I love water. Love water. I feel like, you know, whenever I go in the water, this is mine. I'm a mermaid, you know. I'm a mermaid person. I'm a Virgo, by the way, by astrology. So I'm an earthy type, but I love water. I can enjoy flying. So that's what human being is all about. And as I say that, I'm going into the multi-personality, this one. I realize that's what it is. It's about kind of utilizing who you are. And I'm going to make it green. Why green? Because it's something new within my life. It's a new course that I'm starting. New is the color of beginning. And new is the color of renewing, right? It's like renewing what you know about yourself. It's taking all of those things, you know, where you're a mother, you're, you know, it's like thinking the way we start the course is, what are your roles in your life? What roles do you play in your life? And we all start writing down, right? Women always write mother, sister, daughter, right? Wife, right? Lover, right? And then what do we do next? We also write, you know, I'm a neurographic instructor. Some people write, I'm a business owner. Some people write, I'm a yoga instructor, right? I'm a meditation teacher. And then you write more roles. And we have to write, the goal is to write 20 or 30 roles. You can try that at home. It's absolutely fascinating. 20 or 30 roles you have, you play within your life. Who are you? And that brings me back into my, we call it Orvo Omanut, which is a Neurographic approach to Jewish wisdom, Jewish philosophy. And because talking about roles brought me to the idea of the mask. I'm gonna have an open session next week, by the way. And that's what we're gonna discuss. We're gonna draw a mask because on Purim, like I mentioned, there's a holiday of Purim coming in 2 weeks. And what we do there is we dress up. And it's amazing. And you know, dressing up, by the way, it's everybody's encouraged to dress up. It's not just for kids. It's actually for adults. Adults dress up. And you should see the way people dress up. It's the most amazing. And that's what it's about, right? It's about what masks do we wear? When do you choose to wear a certain mask? And when do you want to take away your mask, right? What is that mask that you feel like, I want to take it off? And what is that mask that you always want to put it in, right? Remember I talked about that you can make the same session, the same drawing, and your goal would be happiness, loving yourself. That's what you do, right? How many masks do you wear? You can discuss with yourself, right? Remember Saturday Night Live? Discuss amongst yourself. You can discuss among yourself. What mask do you wear when you talk to people? What mask do you wear when you talk to your children, right? In my educational background, I would do that a lot. I would talk to parents about the way they see their children. You know, children are not just those little creatures that we're here to shape and mold as we want. Children are our first and foremost teachers, okay? Remember I talked about teachers, people who inspire me, my instructors, my colleagues, who I see and I am amazed at the way they utilize Neurographic within their practice and they develop it. But my first and foremost teachers are my children. I love them. I used to homeschool my kids for a very long period of time, like 4 or 5 years. That was the most amazing experience. This is how I grew to understand what my kids are. My kids are not here for me to shape them and get them to do what I didn't achieve in life, right? Although I must tell you that karmically, it does work too. Sorry, I have a noise outside. They're doing the grass cutting. Let me know if I need to speak up. But it was interesting and fascinating when my son, who's graduating high school, came up to me like a few months ago, and I was talking to him, and what do you want to do? He's going to college, and I was asking him, what do you want to pursue? There was, when he was little, he wanted to be a lawyer, I'm that Jewish mother kind of thing. I taught my kids that you need to be a doctor and a lawyer. And then when I underwent through the whole transformation thing, I realized, no, you don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer. You be who you are. You be the best person you are, and you bring in what you want to do. And my kids stopped wanting to be a doctor and a lawyer. My oldest daughter wanted to be a dentist her whole life. That was not my thing, by the way. I'm not into dentistry. My mother-in-law is. And my daughter really wanted to be a dentist. She grew up now. You know what she wants to be? She's going to be a filmmaker. She's taking courses, like filmmaking courses. And I think it's fascinating. And she's amazing. She makes amazing videos. And they're really creative. They're really fascinating. Like she finds a way to make a video of something that's like different, like a different view that nobody thought of, like that Quentin Tarantino movies. You guys remember when it first came out? People were like fascinated. It's like nobody thought about making movies like that, right? And that's what it's all about. Like, so my son, who wanted to be a lawyer, then he wanted to be a guitar player, right? He wanted to be a musician. Then he wanted to be like a business person. So he came up, my biggest surprise was when he was discussing something, he's like, yeah, I'm becoming a psychiatrist. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm becoming a psychiatrist. And I was like thinking how amazing, that word karma, that word fate, whatever you want to call it. I don't actually believe in fate as the way it's mostly used, but I do believe in energy, various energy. I never told my son, my daughter, we had conversation like that because my daughter is a psychological type, we discuss things with her. But my son, I never spoke. But when I went to college, my dream was to become a psychiatrist. Never spoke about it. And like I said, I never told him, I never brought in that. That's like his inner self, I guess that's like when you have a thought, and that's going back to your ancestry, you know, system, this family system. When you have a dream, it's not just a dream, and that's what it's about. It's about something coming from the your previous life, you know, your previous soul experience. That's important to note, right? People have different kinds of experiences, and that's what life is about. Life is about not just fulfilling your dream. Life is about fulfilling the dream, that longing you had with your soul within the previous lifetimes. And we know in the previous lifetimes, in previous generations, things were never like that, right? Especially for women, right? I mean, women were mostly what? Mother, wife, caretaker, right? And nowadays, women can be anything we want to, right? And that's, I'm very careful about portraying that message to my daughters, right? Um, something I read yesterday, you know, one of those posts in one of the WhatsApp chats. It said, let's teach our children different roles. And I found it to be so fascinating how I'm taking this multi-role, you know, multi-personality course and learning that we can have different roles, you know, we can allow ourselves to wear different masks. And I see this post and it says, let's teach our children different roles, you know, let's teach our daughters how to be, what does it say? How to be business, something like that, like a business owner or something like that. And the fact that she makes money herself. So when she grows up, she doesn't depend on her husband for money source, right? And I found it to be fascinating. And then it says, and let's teach our sons how to help clean up and do things around the house. So when they grow up, you know, they don't expect a servant, but they have a wife. And I found it to be so interesting. I mean, it's a bit like gender biased, but if we think about practical wise, the way people live, regular practical life, that's how it is, right? Any forum you go to, the housewives, and not even a housewife, right? I watched this interview with this fascinating, she's like a movie star in Ukraine, and she's a celebrity. And she was talking about, she's like, you know, she's in a group, she's in a cast where she's the only female, and all around her are male, her colleagues are males. And she says, you know, when they finish work, they go home and they relax. When I finish work, I go home and I clean up and I take care of the kids. And I found it to be so fascinating nowadays, right? We live in a modern country. She's an amazing actress, and she's absolutely, you know, very, what do you call that? Progressive and everything, you know, but that still lingers, right? That idea that the woman should come home and take care of the household. And she says it, she's like, my husband, you know, he works with me. He's a producer of the show. I mean, when we come home, he's just my husband. He sits and watches TV, and I have to cook. And I was thinking to myself, you know, it's interesting. She can hire a cook and she can hire a nanny, and she probably does. But the fact is she feels most responsible for that for now. That's interesting to note, right? Gender roles, the way they are. And when you're going to write those roles, if you want to do that exercise for yourself, you can think about what percentage, how important is a gender role within your life? And how do you bring it in? How do you utilize it? How do you integrate it? Or maybe how do you fight it? How do you try to transform it, right? That's important. I mean, I started realizing it when, like I said, like when I was doing homeschooling, and I learned the whole philosophy of homeschooling. It's an amazing philosophy. I mean, nowadays, almost a lot of people are homeschooling, right? Due to pandemic, but back then, nobody homeschooled, you know, it was very sporadic, and people would look at me funny. They were like, why are you homeschooling your kids? Your kids must go to school. And that's what it is. I have one more circle I'm coloring. How are you doing, guys? I want to explain to you something. My students know this. The reason I'm talking about all of this, talking about my life, is an example of the way you should be drawing your neurographic picture, right? Let's say you watch this in the recording. That's what you should be doing. You should be having a conversation with yourself. You should be starting thinking. Remember this thought awareness we did in the beginning? that should be the whole time during your neurographic drawing. There's also, of course, something called, like I mentioned before, the awareness practice. Welcome to watch it, and we'll learn it in details during all of my courses. Whatever I teach, I always bring the awareness. I want to make sure people understand how it works, that we should be always aware of our body, our thoughts, our emotions. And that's fully tied into what we see in here, right? Just to get an idea, what color is this? Is it something one color? I think this is it. Yeah. And the reason I talk, I can just quietly draw. I'll be honest with you. I would love that. I find Neurographic to be a meditative, especially the coloring part. It's the most meditative part for me. I enjoy doing it on my own, in my own thoughts, maybe turn on the music I love, either classical or something jazzy, Greg Gershwin is my favorite to go with. If you guys want to try, totally recommend. Gershwin music is totally Neurographic music. But I find it to be, I want to show you guys, this is what you do with Neurographica, right? You figure it out. You find out what your thoughts are, what are your emotions, and you develop them further by discussing it, by talking about it, talk among yourself. You can talk to yourself. You can talk to your partner. Communication, right? We just finished the neurocommunication course. It will actually be available for sale soon. You guys welcome to inquire if you're interested. That's exactly what we did there, right? We discussed how communication is like integral source of socialization within, within human interaction, within human interaction with themselves and with others. Okay, I am done with my outer circles, and now I feel like doing my inner self. Now, it's interesting to note when I did this class in Russian on Wednesday, I did the opposite. I felt like coloring myself first, and then I did the outer circle. Today, I did the opposite, and that's okay. Everything you do is very intuitive. Okay, again, you want to do things not intuitively, you want to do things strategically. You come to the neurocomposition, you come to the neurocoloring, where we learn how do you color, which elements do you color first to bring energy to them first? What color do you use to bring a certain energy? If it's a energy of beginning, is it an energy of renewal, an energy where you actually want to, let's say you want to sell your business, right? You want to finish one part of your life and start another one. What color do you use there? What energy do you bring in there? And when Pavel did the neurocolor, at one point it was called the 5 elements, the neuro energy, the energy of color, right? Now he just said simple neurocolor. But it's really, like I said, it's using symbols, using philosophy. It's not just about color, it's also about healing. Which elements do you use to bring in healing within your aspect of life? So all of it, right? Healing is so important nowadays, right? Health. So saying that, I am going back. You guys have that too? I just saw a part, a little tiny part, which wasn't rounded. And I'm like, I found you. I'm gonna go in and round you off. You guys notice, right? When you don't round certain aspects, it looks different, right? As soon as you round all of the intersections, the picture looks much more integrated, much more like balanced, right? Okay. Now, you can do different aspects when it comes to coloring yourself. I like to color this whole thing one color. Why? Because it's so significant to me that I started this little and I grew. This is who I am now. I'm not this little tiny circle. I'm bigger now, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color. Guys, give me some feedback. I would love if you want to talk. As we're finishing up, are you guys here with me? Is everything I say make sense to you? I mean, the answer to that question probably would be no. Not everything kind of makes sense to you probably, but do you more or less understand what I'm teaching you? I'm assuming you not ask any questions, but maybe just kind of give me some feedback. How are you feeling? Are you guys drawing with me? How is your picture going? Where are you in your picture? Are you also coloring? Are you still rounding? Are you still adding the sources of happiness. As you color, also breathe in and out, feel yourself feel in with color, right? And I was thinking, oh, look at this. I found like this brown color. And I was like surprised. I don't usually use brown, but I guess that's my connection to when I mentioned I'm a Virgo, right? I'm an earthy. And at one point I want to, I'll be making a separate, my colleagues doing it, but I'll be making a separate class on like neuro sketching, right? Where I will be using, I did that class live with my group of students. I have a group of students I used to teach live in New York. We still do live now, but we do it on Zoom now. But and I did that class with them where we utilized our name and then neurographed our name. And it was so fascinating. People felt like they really connected to their name. We discussed like the meaning of what the name means, you know, why do people get certain names? My name, it's interesting. I have two Hebrew names. One is Lana. Lana means a tree, right? And so you guys now understand my connection to the neuro tree. But I'll tell you, it's completely intuitive. It's not because that's my name. When I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. But in general, it's very intuitive. I love the neuro tree. I find it to be a fascinating. And we also, you know, my second name is Tzipora. Tzipora means a bird. But it's interesting to know the word Tzipora has another word in it. It has the word aura. Aura means light. The name of our group that created the Jewish Wisdom Group with Neurographica called Or, but Omanut, which means light and art. Omanut is art, Or means light. So part of me is a bird. I like to fly up. I like to fantasize, right? I like to, when I worked with my trainer on Kesef, with Svetlana Gorbach, and I would talk and I would say, ooh, can I utilize the flying? She does like for certain people who are more earthy, more practical, down to earth. She tells them, you know, I'm going to utilize the flying method with you, technique. And I tell her, can I participate in your flying sessions? Excuse me. And she's like, you don't need flying. You don't come to my flying session. You fly enough. You need the opposite. You need to come down to earth. And, you know, I realize that's a part of my goal, to come down to earth, to bring the elements of heaven, to bring the elements of cloudness to them. You're still rounding. Yeah. In a trance. Yeah. I hear you, Michelle. Yeah. I do. When I do my rounding, it's like a crossword puzzle. And I'll tell you, I don't like doing crosswords. It bothers me. I get annoyed. But I love the rounding. It's like, you know, let's see, can we do all of it? You know, I get also like in this competition kind of mode. Remember that aggressiveness I was telling you about? That's what I get. I get a surge of energy when I do rounding. I love it. It gives me like that surge of, you know, I can achieve it. Okay. So I colored myself. By the way, just giving it out there, right? Based on what I was telling you about the multi-personality, right? How we are different aspects, there are different aspects of who we are. You can use that, utilize, just giving you an idea, it just came to my mind. I'm like, I'll share it with you, right? You can utilize that within your coloring technique, right? You can do different colors for yourself. But even if you do that, and that's what we learn in our classes, the way to do it is not to create disbalance, not to create, you know, chaos on the paper. Whenever you add elements, whether it's graphic, drawing with a marker, or whether it's coloring. Rain. Okay. You'll watch this in recording, Rain. You'll do it, you know, in the quietness. I know, I'm like that too. I don't always draw. Sometimes it's good to draw with a group. It's a different energy, but I hear you. So it's important to know, like, even if you do color, do it in a way where it's kind of like the word strategic. I don't know if it makes sense to you when it comes to coloring. It's important to be creative. I'm all for creativity, and that's what we do, creating something, right? If we share our pictures, you can see, even though we all drew by the same, what do you call it? By the same directions, our picture will be different. They will be similar, maybe, but they will not be ever the same, right? This is not geometry. This is not architecture. We don't draw things. 1 second, my daughter is calling. I'm just going to tell her. Hi, honey, I'm in session. Can I call you back? Okay. Yes, yes. Uh-huh. Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to finish up with you guys. It's 11:53. I want to let you go. I want you guys to have a break, especially I know some of you are going to another class. So we're finished with my picture. Those of you who are in the know, yes, you can add the field lines. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay too. The way you draw your picture is fine. If you want to learn what field lines are, welcome to join me in the basics course. We actually have a sale going on now that will be finished in the beginning of March. Those of you who want to know, yes, you can add the field lines and graphical affixing. Yes, you can make some of your goals, you know, those future goals, the future sources of happiness, thicker. Can bring them out, make them like 3D. And that's another thing what we learned in the neurocomposition class. What do we decide? Which elements do we bring out? Which elements do we put like in the foreground? Which elements do we bring out more? Which element do we bring out less? We still bring them out, but it's less. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you guys enjoying it, okay? That's what it's all about, okay? The neurocomposition class is about how do you create a composition? How do you create something, a picture? When you look at it, you will already know within your mind what is your first step in your goal, in achieving your goal. What's your second step? What's more important to you? What's next important, right? So for me, up until yesterday, Kesef was on my first step because I had to pass the certification and I worked on it a lot. And I don't remember which circle was Kesef. By my next step is what I'm looking at now. My next step is to finish up the pyramid of development. I want to finish that training. I want to get certified. I'm going to do also all of those trainings require cases. I have to do cases. I have to do, you know, a lot of practicing. And that's what I did. You see, as soon as I added a thicker line, look at my picture. Doesn't the circle pop up to you, right? And that's what it is. Creating a 3D picture where each element, while the work of art, right? People who are not you will be looking at it and like, oh, it's so cool. It would be like, you know, an abstract color art, right? Like when you go to Museum of Modern Art and you look at that abstract picture. But for you, you're the creator of this picture. You will know why this circle is thicker and this circle is thinner. Why this circle will look wider and this circle will look smaller. You control which elements in your life are kind of, what do you call that? Not the word is in my mind, are more like pop up in your mind, are more integral to you right now. And which elements are like on the second plan. You know, I'm going to finish with this and then I will do this. Okay. Like my family, I'm going to bring it out. It's integral. Shabbat is coming up, right? Sabbath, today is Friday night. And I'm going to finish the course and I'm going to go prepare for it. And I'm going to bring it out. I want to make sure that my family, right? And you can create, by the way, what I did today was a mix of everything, but let's say you create a separate picture for your business, a separate picture for your family. We actually learned that in the Neuro Connection class, right? How do you bring it out? How do you connect? How do you decide? And that's what it is. That's what I mean by strategy, by organization. How do you decide which energy, which aspects in your life you need more energy, right? Right? I have two teenagers, right? So I know teenagers require a lot of attention, right? Just like newborn babies are, right? I don't have a newborn baby, but those of us who do have a newborn baby in the family or had it before, we all know. Newborn baby comes and that's it. All attention on that, especially with mama, right? Mama is only about taking care of the newborn baby. The community helps, right? I don't know about you guys, but that's what happened to my community. The community helps. They bring in food. Mother-in-law comes, your mother comes, whatever. Somebody hires a nanny for you. But it's about that baby and it's about the mom. And that's what it is. What is your preference in life? Where are you now? Look at your goal. Do you know what's more important to reach your goal and what's less important? Which elements are more integral? And which elements should be, you know, they're important, but they're in the background. And that's what it's all about, okay? And how you do it with the shape, with the graphic, which is what we do in neurocomposition. And the next thing would be neurocolor. How do you use your color? Okay, I am done. I'm just I'm gonna do one. I'm doing my field lines vertical. Okay, 1, 2. You can do it like this. I'm gonna show you. You can do your field lines like this, or you can go with your field lines. I'm gonna show you what I did on Wednesday. You can probably see it on my, here, this is my Wednesday picture. See, similar, but I did my field lines from my essence of who I am. And you can do that, okay? I actually ended up doing this, and that's fine too. I want to show you different ways you can do field lines. But again, as everything else, it's intention, okay? What is the intention you bring to your field line? My intention, the reason I'm doing vertical is growth, okay? I've been talking about growth a lot. I've been talking about taking new courses, right? And growing, learning, becoming certified, right? My goal is to get certified. My goal, and what a certification means, integrating that new knowledge into who you are. And then my next step, let's say, remember how those of you who know, who took the basics course, we have the 7 steps, topic 1.0. Yeah, you're welcome. Topic 1.0 and then topic 2.0, right? The 7th step. And that would be my topic 2.0. As I finishing my picture, I came to a realization. What would my next picture be? If this picture is about learning, right? Passing my certification, my next picture would be integrating that knowledge after I pass the certification into my everyday life, into my practice, into my professional life. Like I mentioned before, I'm happy to do open sessions about pyramid of development. I love it. I think people should start learning and understanding how it works, and it will truly be an asset to their life, just like Neurographica was and is, right? Larry, it's so nice to have you in the session. I didn't get to say hi to you personally, but I'm very glad to see you here. That's what it's all about, you know, learning and sharing with others. Remember, we talked about sharing, the balance you take and you give, right? It's important. And you decide how you want to give, which sources, right? And interesting part, I'm going to get a bit religious on you, but don't take it like a religious thing, you know. God has a way of working out the balance in life. Just want to bring that out. Instead of God, if you're not a religious person, you can just say universe has a way of working out, and it will still be the same meaning. But it's true. I've noticed that. I see how it works. The universe has a way of working the balance out for you. So that's something to pay attention, but let's not take away your responsibility. You still have to do what you need to do to bring in balance in this world. And you do it your way, you know, whether it's going and spending more time with your child. That's a balance, right? You spend time with yourself, you drew in Neurographic, and now you spend time with your child. That's a balance. That's taking time for yourself and then giving time for others, spending time with your husband, right? Valentine's Day is coming. In Judaism, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but before I became an Orthodox Jew, me and my husband, he actually proposed to me on Valentine's Day. So that's something, you know, I always have in my mind. To me, Valentine's Day, although I don't fully celebrate it, has a special meaning for me personally. And that's what it's all about, right? Taking those special meanings and using it as a resource of happiness. That Valentine's Day, even though I don't celebrate it, to me it has a special meaning, and I utilize it. I take it. I use that resource, that special time, you know, between my husband and me, before the kids, you know, before the family, before the craziness, you know, for who we are when we met, right? And that's an important resource of happiness. Just want to tell you. And yep, I am done. I see you guys are starting to leave, and I am finishing up as well. Anybody who wants to give me some feedback, just want to hear, how was this session for you? What did you feel? Did you feel it was relevant to you? Did you feel you're taking something away from it? Just give me some feedback. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Eminem. Can I call you M&M or MM? But yeah, I'm so glad you came. Thank you. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourself. Do you post your pictures in the world of Neurographica? Okay. Bye, Michelle. Glad to hear. Yes, please do. Give me your feedback in the group. I will be happy to hear. Post your pictures. We'll love to share. Welcome. Feel yourself as a part of Neurographica community, okay? So I'm going to say goodbye. I was so happy to see all of you. Leslie, so nice to see you face to face.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Everybody I know, everybody I don't know, but I met. So nice to meet you. And yes, oh, Hannah Miriam, yes, hi. I will send you information. Do you want to PM me? Just write Lana, hi, send me info and I will send it to you. Yes, absolutely. If you guys are interested in any info, please feel free to PM me and I will be happy to send you all the information that you're interested in, all of the certifications we offer. Amazing. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Saying goodbye. Wishing you a wonderful weekend ahead. Beautiful Valentine's Day. And happy drawing, of course. So glad to hear everybody from you guys. Yes, okay, Hannah Miriam, I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's up there. Amazing. Bye-bye, everybody. Enjoy your drawing. Enjoy your weekend. Shabbat Shalom to those of you. Beautiful weekend to everybody else. Enjoy.